Hi, this is Kathleen, and I'm going to give you a very short lesson on how to find opportunities with podcast shows. One of the fastest ways to find targeted shows, and then I'm going to show you a super hack that very few people use, but it's incredibly powerful. So let's start by going to iTunes. And when you're on iTunes, what you want to do is you want to go into the search bar, and let's say that I want to search out shows that are about the environment. So let's do environmental. Okay. So I put the word in there, I click enter, and I see a lot of shows that come up about the environment. Environmental Health Chat, Open Yale Courses, TIL Climate, Cultures of Energy, Broken Ground, Vegan Environmental Solutions. So let's take a look at, we'll look at Stuff You Should Know. Let's see what that particular show is about, see if it's a fit. So all I do is click on there, and it doesn't look, as I'm looking down the list here, it doesn't really look like this would be a show that would be specifically about the environment. So we'll go back and we'll look at Cultures of Energy. Let's see what that one is about. Climate Book Club, Energy Democracy, Sea Level Rise. Okay, so this could actually be a good show. So what you want to look at is, when did the last episode get released? And you can scroll down to look at the dates. It's in this column right here where it says released right here. And the last release of this show was in October. Prior to that, they were pretty active. So it could be that they're just not doing the show anymore, or they've taken a hiatus. I took a 5-year hiatus from my show. So it doesn't mean that they won't come back. Might be worth checking it out. The first thing that you want to do is you want to listen to a few minutes of a couple of episodes just to see, first of all, what is the style of the host, and you can tell by the episode whether or not they bring guests on in most cases. Another thing you want to look at is how many ratings they've gotten. This one has gotten 48, so it's a relatively active show, not super active, but relatively active. And then rating and reviews, you can go through and you can look at the different rating and reviews. And these are all 5-star reviews, so you can read a little bit about the show. Another thing, once you decide, okay, this is a show I think I would like to be a guest on, to find other shows. Now, this is the super hack. To find other shows, all you need to do is click the little button here, related, and it brings up other shows that are in that genre. So let's look at environmental studies, new books in environmental studies. Okay, this would be anybody who has a book on the environment, green topics, climate change. This would be an excellent show to target. Now, we take a look at release dates, February 7th, so it's fairly new. And this recording is being done on February 11th, so of 2020. So whenever you happen to see this, keep in mind that the show date is based on the date you actually are looking at this. But in looking down, this looks like a very, very active show. Again, you can look at their ratings. They've got 6. Okay, not a lot, but it could be a really good show to get on. In popularity, it looks like people are definitely listening. And then ratings and reviews, you can take a look at that, but related, that's the big one. Along here, we've got a whole bunch of shows, natural sciences. So that's one way to find shows. It's a great way to really narrow into what you're looking for. So let's say that I want to find shows in women's studies. Okay, so we'll go into women's studies, and let's see, that right down here is what women's Bible study. These are Bible study, women's study 101. Okay. This is a show that had 2 episodes, not real active. However, where you can get some value is Related, and more about women's studies, society and culture. So basically, you're going on a search for shows that are active, that are within your genre. Now, one of the nice things, let's go ahead and stuff you should know, Catch and Kill. Let's see, women's studies. Let's go right here. This show was last aired in 2011, so not a very active show. Let's take a look here. And let's go women's studies. Let's see, that was 2010, not very active. Let's take a look here. Joe Rogan, don't know if that's a real good fit. So let's go to see if this changes anything. I add an apostrophe in there. And let's go Smart Women, Smart Power. Okay, this is a fairly active show. They've got 52 ratings, and they've got some low ones. Pretty interesting how they've got some relatively low ratings, which is unusual. Most shows, they get 4s and 5s. And again, go to Related. But one of the keys right here under links, go to website. It should take you right over to the website of the show. And that's where you can find the contact information right here. We've got the contact information on the left-hand side. We've got their links to all their social media. So again, this is a process that does take time. That's why the directory is so valuable to you, because we've done the research for you. So as you can see, I've spent about 10 minutes just looking at different shows, and I came across the page where we've got the contact information. Now it's got to go into a spreadsheet. So I highly encourage you to use the podcast directory. I also encourage you to do your research on iTunes. And another way that you can do a nice hack is, let's say that you want to see what shows Kathleen Gage podcast interviews, see if anything comes up on that. Okay, we've got my Power Up for Profits. We've got How to Power Up for Profit, number 2. Okay, so let's go to this one because this is Sales Babble. And on Sales Babble, you can, if you're doing sales, this would definitely be a site to go to, and you can look at who some of the other guests have been and past episodes. And you can look at the people that have been on this podcast show. Then what you can do is you can actually say, okay, I want to see the other shows that Matt Halsey has been on. Okay, and let's go ahead and grab his name. And let's do a Google search on podcast interviews. Okay, so this is yet another way you can look at, okay, we've got the 5-Minute Bark, we've got the Sales Cheat Code podcast, the Negotiators Playbook. So all of these, if you're in sales, would be perfect to reach out to. So again, basically it's knowing who your audience is, knowing what the niche is, and doing the research, putting it in a spreadsheet, and being consistent in what you're doing. This is Kathleen Gage with Power Up for Profits and the Directory of Podcast Listings, encouraging you, dig into the podcast directory and do your research. Have a great day.